GRIAS Academy.
100 days, 100 themes, one goal, UPSC Prelims. Hello all, welcome back to the program Mission Surya Phase 3, a STEM revision program where we deal with current affairs specifically related to science and technology and environment in completely prelims perspective. So let's get started with our today's session. In our today's session, we are going to see few topics related to pollution, basically the air pollution. Because in India, air pollution is being one of the major concerns now. So let us see how the government of India is taking initiatives to control the air pollution, and let's see what is air pollution, what are the types of it, and what are the causes of air pollution. And we'll be linking few topics like ozone pollution and plastic pollutions to the today's topic of air pollution. Okay, now let's get started. Let's see what is the status of air pollution in India first. Basically, see, Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2025. Okay, Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2025. This is the report. Sorry, this is not the report. This is the ranking which is given to cities in India. Which is given to cities in India based on the air quality and pollution control measures taken by the cities. Based on these two conditions, the cities in India have been ranked via Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2025. See, the results were recently announced with indoor securing a perfect score. What is the score of indoor? Indoor securing the perfect score of 200 out of 200. 200 out of 200. Setting a new benchmark for clean air initiatives under the National Clean Air Programme. Okay. Indoor, and this also see the category 1 cities with the population above 10 lakhs in Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2025, indoor secured the first rank, recording in the Guinness World Record also. How? By planting 16 lakh plus trees. Okay. Next is the Jabalpur with 11 metric tons of waste to energy plant it's converted. Next the Agra and Surat. By the Agra remediated legacy waste dump sites, and Surat the electronic vehicle policy with tax incentives they have increased. Okay, this is about Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan 2025. Next, Global Methane Tracker Report 2024. This is basically a report which is released globally, specifically targeting the methane, how much methane is being extracted in the energy sector basically. Okay, now it is released by International Energy Agency. It flagged that methane emissions from the fossil fuels remained near a record high. Okay, stressing the urgent need for a 75% reduction by 2020. How much percentage should be reduced? 75% of reduction of fossil fuels should be done by 2030 to meet the 1.5 degrees of global warming limit. To reach this 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming limit, 75% of reduction of methane should be done by 2030. It is flagged that methane emissions from fossil fuels, basically from fossil fuels only, this methane emission is being more emitted. So to reduce it, to reach the 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming, it has to decrease 75%. Okay, that's why we are promoting EV vehicles. Next, let's see flue gas desulfurization delays. What is it? The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has granted multiple deadline extensions to thermal power plants, for installing flue gas desulfurization systems. Okay, FGDs. Flue gas desulfurization systems. Depending on the plant's location, deadlines now stretched from 2024 to 2029. Basically the deadline is 2024. Now it's been stretched to 2029 to set up the flue gas desulfurization systems. Okay. Now next, ethanol blending milestone. Next is the ethanol blending milestone. India has successfully reached its 20% of ethanol blending target. 20% of ethanol blending target, that is E20, well ahead of the original 2030 deadline. Basically by 2030 every country decided to achieve 20% of ethanol blending in the petrols, right? But India achieved it 5 years ahead itself, before 2030 only, before 5 years only, like in 2025 only it has been achieved, saving billions in forex and significantly reducing tailpipe emissions. Okay. Next, this is what India has done. See, next, let us understand what is air pollution. See, basically air pollution occurs, when does the air get polluted? When harmful gases and chemicals releases into the atmosphere, the air gets polluted, right? You can see here, air pollution occurs when harmful or excessive quantities of gases, particulates and biological molecules are introduced into the earth atmosphere. The issue gained global prominence during the rapid industrialization of the 20th century. During this time, this air pollution has increased much more. Like example, the Great Smog of London 1952. Everyone must be knowing about it. The Great Smog of London 1952. This shifting over time from localized coal smoke problems to complex region-wide photochemical smog driven by vehicles and industry. Okay. Now see, you can see like from cities the pollution is, the pollutant emissions are happening. From the natural thing also, through lightning, volcanoes, wildfires. Obviously in wildfires and volcanoes, when they are released, when wildfire happens, lot of smoke will be coming out, right? That smoke will be absorbed in the atmosphere. Due to that also the air pollution is happening. From forests also, and again from industries, power plants, sewage treatments, what not, through everything. Basically the one which we use, cars, trucks, buses, motorcycles, a huge amount of greenhouse gases we are releasing, and they are polluting the air. Okay. This is how the air pollution is happening. Let us see the types of air pollution. Basically there are two types of air pollutions, primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. What are there? The primary pollutants are emitted directly from the source. They are directly emitted from the source, like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, volatile organic compounds, particulates, we call it as PMs, and nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen oxide. These are few examples of primary pollutants. What are the secondary pollutants? When these primary pollutants reacts with, formed in the secondary pollutants generally formed in the lower atmospheric regions. Okay, lower atmospheric regions through what? Through chemical reactions. Between what? Between the primary pollutants and the sunlight. Between this primary pollutants, between the primary pollutants plus sunlight, due to the chemical reactions in between these two, these leads secondary pollutants. What are the secondary pollutants? The examples like ground level ozone, peroxyacetyl nitrate or PAN, sulfur trioxide, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, particulates, ozone, ammonium, hydrogen peroxide. These are the secondary pollutants which are caused by the chemical reaction of primary pollutants with the sunlight. Okay. And what are primary pollutants? Primary pollutants are directly released from the source. Okay. Next, let us see few core themes and policy interventions of this air pollution. Flue gas desulfurization in thermal power plants. How it works? It is a set of technologies. These are a set of technologies used to remove sulfur dioxide from the exhaust flue gases. Exhaust flue gases of fossil fuels power plants. Fossil fuel power plants. Okay. What is the mechanism of it? The most common method involves a wet scrubber. It uses a wet scrubber where the exhaust gas, where the exhausted gas comes out into contact with an alkaline slurry. Alkaline slurry like limestone example, okay, which reacts within the SO2 to form synthetic gypsum, a unstable byproduct for the cement industry. This is a unstable byproduct for the cement industry. Okay, and this is the mechanism how this flue gas desulfurization in thermal power plants are working. Okay, next see the implementation challenges. What happens? The installation mandate was first introduced in 2015. The installation mandate was first introduced in 2015. However, due to high capital cost, supply chain bottlenecks and lack of domestic manufacturing capacity, the Ministry of Environment, Forest Conservation, Climate Conservation has extended deadlines multiple times. This ministry has extended deadlines multiple times due to the high capital costs due to supply chain bottlenecks and lack of domestic manufacturing. This deadlines have been extended. Next, categorized deadlines. What are the categorized deadlines? Plants within 10 kilometer radius, the flue gas desulfurization plants which are 10 kilometers radius of the NCR or million plus cities, which comes under the category A, had a 2024 deadline. They had, what is the deadline of those cities? Category A cities, it is 2024. While category B and category C plants have deadlines extended to 2025 and 2026 or 2027 respectively. Okay. Next, these are few deadlines. And let us see the second one, the Global Methane Tracker Report 2025, which is the report given by who? International Energy Agency. The International Energy Agency releases the report of methane emissions in the countries based completely on energy plants, focusing on energy sector. Okay. Now, what are the key findings of it? The energy sector generated nearly how much? 120 million tons of methane, 120 million tons of methane in 2023, which is close to 70% of fossil fuel methane emissions, which is closely to 70% of fossil fuel methane emissions, which come from just the top 10 emitting countries. The United States and Russia led in oil and gas emissions, while China leads in coal sector emissions. Okay, have a note on it. The United States and Russia lead in oil and gas emissions, while China leads in coal sector emissions. Okay, next, what is the climate threat? What is the climate threat of this methane emissions? Methane is generally responsible for 30% of the rise in global temperatures. It is very much responsible for increasing in the global temperatures of around 30% since the pre-industrial era. Okay, despite having a shorter atmospheric lifespan, they are around 12 years, than carbon dioxide. Its global warming potential is 8 hours. Its global warming potential is 84 times higher over a 20-year period. Okay, this is the strategic this thing where methane is mostly harmful for the global warming temperatures. Okay, it affects the global. So let us see the core themes and policy interventions of air pollution. That is, the first one is flue gas desulfurization in thermal power plants. This is basically a pollution control technology. Okay, this is a pollution control technology where sulfur dioxide is the sulfur dioxide is removed from the exhausted flue gases of fossil fuel power plants. Basically, the coal power plants are targeted, where the sulfur dioxide is removed from the gases which is exerted from this thermal power plants. Okay, so what is the mechanism? The most common method involves a wet scrubber. It has a wet scrubber where the exhausted gas comes out. The gas which is exhausted, it comes out into contact with the alkaline slurry, which comes into a contact with the alkaline slurry, which called as limestone. Okay, which reacts with the sulfur dioxide. It reacts with the sulfur dioxide to form synthetic gypsum. Okay, it forms a synthetic gypsum, which is a unstable byproduct for cement industry. Okay, next let's see the implementation challenges. The installation mandate was first introduced in 2015. When it was introduced in 2015. However, due to high capital costs, supply chain bottlenecks and lack of domestic manufacturing capacity, the deadlines are extended multiple times by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Conservation. Okay, so what are the implementation challenges? The installation mandate was first introduced in 2015. Okay, now however, due to high capital costs and due to supply chain bottlenecks and lack of domestic manufacturing capacities, the Ministry of for Environment, Forest and Climate Change has extended the deadlines multiple times. When coming to the categorized deadlines, the plants which are within the 100 kilometers radius of the NCR regions, which have million plus cities or millions plus cities of category A cities, had a deadline of 2024. While the category B and category C plants have deadlines extended to 2025 and 2026-27 respectively. Okay, next, this is the first one, the flue gas desulfurization. Okay, next coming to the Global Methane Tracker Report 2024. This Global Methane Tracker report was the report is given by International Energy Agency. Okay, it is given by International Energy Agency because this methane emission tracker is mostly targeting on energy sector. That's why International Energy Agency only is giving the report of this, the Global Methane Tracker report. What are the key findings of it? Because the energy sector generated nearly 120 million tons of methane, in 2023, which is closely to 70% of fossil fuel methane emissions come from just the top 10 emitting countries. What are those? The United States and Russia. The United States and Russia lead in oil and gas emissions. Based on oil and gas emissions, Russia and USA leads in the first place, while China leads in coal sector emissions. In coal sector emissions, China is leading. Okay, what is the climate threat of it for methane? This methane is responsible for about 30% of the rise in global temperatures. Basically, methane contributes 30% of the global temperature since the pre-industrial era. This is the same thing, like 30% of global warming, global rise in global temperatures is being by methane. Okay, despite having a shorter atmospheric lifespan, methane having a shorter atmospheric lifespan around 12 years than carbon dioxide, its global warming potential is 84 times higher over a period of 20 years. Okay, next. Let's see this Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan, the air clean survey. What is the initiative of this? It is conducted by Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change. Environment, Forest and Climate Change and the Central Pollution Control Board. These conduct the Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan. Okay, to rank 130 cities. To rank how many cities? 130 cities covered under the National Clean Air Program, which are covered under the National Air Program. What are the evaluation metrics of this? The evaluation metrics are: cities are assessed on actions taken to control solid waste burning, road dust, construction or demolition waste, vehicular emissions and industrial pollution. These are the evaluation metrics for Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan. Okay. Next, what are the recent triumphs of this in 2025? As we spoke before, in 2025 edition, Indore achieved a perfect score of 200 out of 200 through aggressive urban mobility shifts. Like how introducing EVs, CNG buses, electric vehicles and CNG buses have been introduced. Next, pothole free roads and the elimination of open garbage burning. Elimination of open garbage burning also they have done. Okay, the cities like Amravati and Surat have also dominated their respective population categories. Okay, next, these are the recent triumphs of Swachh Vayu Sarvekshan. Next, see this ethanol blending program. Basically, we have spoke that India has already achieved 20% of ethanol blending in the petrol before 5 years ahead only, because it is targeted to achieve by 2030. By 2025 we have achieved it. But how? Blending ethanol, let's see the concept of it. Blending ethanol means an oxygenated plant-based fuel. Ethanol is the oxygenated plant-based fuel with petrol to ensure more complete fuel combustion. And reduce import dependency on crude oil. To reduce the import dependency of the crude oil, we are coming up with blending of ethanol with petrol. Okay, what are the recent shifts? The recent shifts is to meet the massive 1000 plus crore liters requirement for the E20 mandate. India has diversified its feedstocks also. Instead of relying solely on sugarcane or molasses, instead of using only sugarcane and molasses, there are now a heavy emphasis on grain based ethanol, that is maize and damaged FCI rice. Damaged FCI rice, like in FCI godowns, Food Corporation of India, we have been losing so much of rice, right, due to high storage issues. So those rice also we can use it for ethanol production. Okay, now coming on to the economic and climate impact, it transitions farmers into urjadats. Urjadats means energy providers. The one who provides energy are called urjadats, and has led to a net production of approximately how much? 832 lakh metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, reduction of approximately 832 lakhs metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. This is the economic and climatic impact of ethanol blending program. Okay, see, let us see few important facts and few keywords also. Okay, see, NCAP targets, the National Clean Air Program, initially aimed to how much? 20 to 30% reduction in PM levels by 2024, which is the base year of 2017. This target has been revised to 40% reduction by 2026. Basically, how much it is? 20 to 30% reduction. Okay, by 2024. But by 2026, it revised the reduction of this PM levels to 40%. Next, Global Methane Pledge. What is it? It is launched in COP26 meeting. It is introduced in COP26 meeting, aiming to reduce global methane emissions by 30% by 2030, reducing the methane production by 30% by 2030, methane emissions, sorry. Next, and have a note of it, India has not signed it. India has not signed this methane emission, reducing methane emission by 30% by 2030. However, cities concerns over India has not signed this agreement because it has concerns over its impact on the agricultural sector. It has impacts on the agriculture sector, like paddy cultivation and livestock are major sources of livelihood. These are the major sources of livelihood. Okay. Next, flex fuel vehicles. What are these flex fuel vehicles? These vehicles equipped with internal combustion engines. These are designed with internal combustion engines which are designed to run on more than one fuel, which can be run on more than one fuel. Usually petrol blended with ethanol up to 83% or 100%. It can some vehicles can only run when there is adequate amount of petrol only. Rather than petrol, if we give any other source to it, it doesn't run. So these flex fuel vehicles, what happen, they are designed in such a way that it can run using more than one fuels. Okay. Next, system of air quality and weather forecasting and research. This institute as an initiative under the Ministry of Earth Sciences to measure location specific air quality. This is there to measure the location specific air quality. Okay. Next, there are few MCQ traps, UPSC MCQ traps which can be tricked by the examiner. Once we will see the basic things. Okay. See, what's the trap? Assuming the global methane tracker is published by UNEF or the IPCC. This is what a statement if he gives, but this is wrong. The fact is it is published by the IEA. Okay. IEA, International Energy Agency. Next, the second thing is assuming FGD, this fuel gas desulfurization technology is used to capture carbon dioxide. Is it really to capture the carbon dioxide? No, I think it is basically the sulfur dioxide. Okay. Carbon dioxide is a carbon capture and storage is used for carbon dioxide. Carbon capture and storage is used for carbon dioxide, whereas FGD specifically targets sulfur dioxide. Okay. Have a note on this, because the examiner might trick you with these type of statements. Next trap, we'll see. Believing higher ethanol blends inherently give better fuel mileage. Will it? I think no. Pure ethanol has a lower energy density. It has a lower energy density, the pure ethanol, okay, than the petrol, which can actually slightly reduce the fuel mileage in the vehicles. It can reduce the mileage in the vehicles, compared to the petrol. Okay. These are few traps. Next, moving on to our next topic, which is related to the air pollution only, the ozone pollution. This ozone pollution is also one of the major concerns, where the ozone layer is getting depleted due to the global warming and the gases which we are releasing, the chlorofluorocarbons which are being released from our refrigerators, the ACs and all. Due to all this, the ozone layer is also getting depleted, which is causing more global warming. Let's see about it. Why is this topic in news? Because extreme heat and urban smog. Extreme heat and urban smog. When we look into the cities like Delhi and all, we can see how polluted those cities are, right? See, over the last 2 years, cities like Delhi have experienced severe prolonged heat waves. They experienced severe prolonged heat waves during the pre-monsoon summer months, that is between March to May. Okay. This has led to unexpected spikes in surface ozone. Making it the lead pollutant on several days, surpassing even particulate matter 2.5, PM 2.5. Okay. Next, WMO and IPCC reports. What does this WMO and IPCC reports have said is, recent climate reports frequently highlighting the climate penalty, the phenomena where global warming directly worsens the air quality. Okay. See, the new scientific evidence on trees. What is this new scientific evidence on trees is, recently the environmental studies have highlighted that urban afforestation must be planned carefully, as certain tree species emit biogenic volatile organic compounds. Certain species of plants, they release biogenic volatile organic compounds under extreme heat, inadvertently fueling ozone formation. They tend to produce the ozone. Okay. So those has to be planned carefully. This is what the recent environmental studies has been said. Okay, now let us look into what is ozone. It is a gas composed of 3 oxygen atoms. Composed of 3 oxygen atoms. It impacts on the environment. It impacts on the environment depend entirely on where it is located. Entirely where it is located. Now see, we have 2 types of ozones, good ozone and bad ozone. Basically, the ozone layer in the atmosphere is very good because it protects us from the direct sunlight rays, right? This is what we have studied. This good ozone, which is found naturally in the stratosphere region of the atmosphere, that is 10 to 30 miles above the Earth's atmosphere. It is around 10 to 30 miles above the Earth atmosphere. It forms a protective layer. It forms a protective layer that shields us from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. Right? Now, what is this bad ozone? This is found in the troposphere, which is at the ground level. Okay? Basically, we can see this is the lower atmosphere layer, which is the troposphere region, where we can 10% of ozone here. Okay, and this is the stratosphere region. We can see the good ozone, which protect us from the direct UV rays of sun, direct rays from the sun to fall on us. Okay, this is found in the troposphere region, which is the ground level. It is a hazardous air pollutant and a greenhouse gas. This is not a good one. This ozone is a bad ozone, which is being harming our greenhouse gases and pollutant and greenhouse gases. What is the historical content of it? Let's see. Ground level ozone became a major global concern during the rapid industrialization and urbanization of the 20th century. Due to heavy industries, due to heavy urbanization, see the cities like Delhi and all, it is highly urbanized, right? Even a space to a home and home is very less. Okay. In that cases, the gases which are been emitting from the residentials or else from the factories, whatever it may be, it is creating a high concern, creating a ozone in the ground level, that is in the troposphere layer. Okay, the classic Los Angeles smog. The classic Los Angeles smog of the 1940s was one of the first major indicators, of the photochemical smog driven by vehicular emissions and sunlight. Due to vehicular emissions and sunlight, a major photochemical smog has been reported in 1940s in the Los Angeles smog. That is named as Los Angeles smog. Okay, this is how ozone is. What is surface ozone then? We will see what is surface ozone. It is a hazardous air pollutant. It is a hazardous air pollutant and a potent greenhouse gas. A potent greenhouse gas. It forms in the troposphere region, that is in the ground level. It is the secondary pollutant. Why we call it secondary pollutant? Because from the primary pollutant only, the ones which are releasing, the gas which are been releasing from the sources like this chlorofluorocarbons, these what happen, these gases, they emit from the direct source. These are called primary pollutants, right? By this primary pollutants, upon reacting with the sunlight, they produce the secondary pollutants. That's why, because of that only, the ground level ozone is formed due to the chemical reaction of primary pollutant and sunlight. So it is secondary pollutant. It is not emitted directly into the air but created by chemical reactions. How does it form? It is formed by the photochemical reaction. It is formed by the photochemical reaction. What are the ingredients for the formation of this ozone in the troposphere level? Is oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds are the major things for formation of tropospheric ozone. What is the catalyst? The strong sunlight and high temperatures are the main causes. Strong sunlight and high temperatures. Using these two only, this oxides of nitrogen or carbon monoxide or volatile organic compounds, they convert into this tropospheric ozone. During the seasons of summer months, to the peak seasons are summer months. At this time, this ozone is being produced. What is the impact of this surface ozone? What is the impact of the surface ozone? In human health, how it is impacted? Several effects like respiratory health, because generally we breathe air. normally for air get polluted, obviously the man also get polluted, the basic thing, because when we live on the air itself only, right? If the air which we are breathing in is polluted, how can a man live without any problem? Obviously man has a respiratory health. When affects the respiratory health of a man, when it becomes the lead pollutant, its impacts can exceed those of particulate matter. Okay. Next, coming to the economy and environmental impacts, it reduces agricultural productivity, it decreases the agricultural productivity, and it obviously damages the ecosystem also. Okay. Next, we'll see what is the role of volatile organic compounds and biogenic volatile compounds. Okay. Coming to volatile organic compounds, these are carbon based chemicals. These are carbon based chemicals which are easily evaporated into the air, Coming to anthropogenic sources. What are the anthropogenic sources? Why we call it as anthropogenic sources means these are released due to the fossil fuels. Okay, see, vehicular emission power. Vehicular emissions means basically the petrol. Where is the petrol coming from? From the fossil fuels itself. So it is called as anthropogenic sources like vehicular emissions, power plants, industries, paints, solvents, fuels, and biomass burning. These are called anthropogenic sources. So this is about volatile organic compounds. Coming to biogenic volatile organic compounds, these are emitted naturally by certain trees, as we spoke previously. Few trees like they release this biogenic volatile organic compounds when they are subjected to high temperatures and humidity. Okay, what is the danger of this? The danger is under heat stress. Under heat stress, these trees emit higher levels of biogenic volatile compounds. In cities like Delhi, rising temperatures enhance these emissions, creating localized ozone hotspots. These are the main causes for creating this ozone hotspots. Okay, next, coming to the climate factors and the climate penalty. What accelerates? These accelerates are heat waves, intense sunlight, and reduced atmospheric ventilation, often amplified by phenomena like El Nino. Okay. Next, the climate penalty. What is this climate penalty? It is a crucial concept where global warming worsens air pollution even if human-made emissions remain constant. Though the human-made emissions remained constant, due to the global warming worsening and air pollution, this climate penalty is being implemented. Okay. Next, let's see few important facts also. Okay, the primary versus secondary pollutants, because in exams also, in UPSC Prelims exam, they can ask about this primary pollutants. They will give few names like sulfur dioxide, sulfur monoxide, carbon dioxide and all. They may ask you to mention which of the following are primary pollutants, or else they'll mention few things and they'll ask which is not a primary pollutant, which is not a secondary pollutant, or consider all the options and mention which are primary and secondary pollutants also they can ask. Okay, now see, let's see the difference between key facts like primary versus secondary pollutants. Primary pollutants are basically directly released from the sources. Okay, and secondary pollutants form in the lower atmosphere by chemical reactions like ozone, PAN, that is peroxyacetyl nitrate. Okay. Next, what is the measurement? Ground level ozone is measured by SUFFER. SUFFER in the sense System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research. Network AN is one of the 8 pollutants tracked in the National Air Quality Index. This is, and network as is one of the 8 pollutants tracked in this ozone. This ground level ozone is one of the 8 pollutants which are tracked by the National Air Quality Index. Now, Coming to National Ambient Air Quality Standards. National Ambient Air Quality Standards, where ozone is included in the 12 pollutants and 12 pollutants under National Ambient Air Quality Standards. In National Air Quality Index, ozone is one of the 8 pollutants, but in National Ambient Air Quality Standard, ozone is one of the 12 pollutants under National Ambient Air Quality Standards. Don't confuse in this, the examiner might trick you. Next, Kigali Ambient or Montreal Protocol. Kigali Amendment or Montreal Protocol, which relates to what? It relates to the protection of stratospheric ozone, which is there to protect the stratospheric ozone, which is a good ozone which protects us from the direct sunlight, sun UV rays. Okay, not the tropospheric ozone. It is meant to protect only stratospheric ozone, not the tropospheric ozone. Okay, do not confuse these two in the exam. Okay, next, coming to ozone standards in India. Who is the regulatory authority of ozone standards in India? It is Central Pollution Control Board. Coming to the framework, National Ambient Air Quality Standard 2009, which has a permissible limits. What are those limits? 8 hours average of 8 hours, 100 milligrams of 100 micrograms per meter cube. 1 hour average, 180 μg per m cube. These are few permissible limits which are kept by National Ambient Air Quality Standards in 2009. Okay, let's see few preliminary traps which you can avoid in the examinations. Like, ozone is heavily emitted by diesel vehicles. Is it true? No, it is false. It is not basically emitted by the diesel vehicles only. Vehicles emit volatile organic compounds. Basically, vehicles emit volatile organic compounds which then react to the sunlight and then forms the ozone by chemical reactions. Next, the second trap is planting trees always reduce urban ozone. Is it true? If it is so, we will plant so many trees, right? False, because under extreme heat some trees release biogene volatile compounds which react with urban to increase the ozone, Next, the trap 3 is ozone pollution peaks in winters in North India, isn't it? In winter season in North India, do the ozone increases, pollution peaks? No, because in winter seasons it is completely snow. Where is the sunlight for the formation of ozone with the volatile compounds which are released by the vehicles, right? So it is false. Whatever it might be the vehicles itself. Take the example of trees also. Few trees on subjected to high temperatures only, they are releasing the biogene volatile compounds which is responsible for the formation of ozone, right? See, while PM 2.5 peaks in winter due to stubble burning and inversion. Ozone peaks in summer because it requires intense sunlight and heat. Okay, these are few traps which you have to remember. Next, see, you can see this, the concept Chapman cycle related to destruction of ozone. See, ozone production in its stratosphere. How ozone is produced in stratosphere, we'll see. First, ozone production in the stratosphere. How high energy ultraviolet radiation strikes on the oxygen molecule. This is the oxygen molecule. High amount of ultraviolet radiations are struck on the ozone molecule. What happened? It causes the split in between the two oxygen molecules. Two free oxygen atoms are formed. Now then what happened? The free oxygen atoms collide with molecules of oxygen. Basically we have oxygen in the atmosphere, right? So these two free molecules basically collide with the molecules of oxygen and then to form a ozone molecule with of three oxygen molecules. Okay, these separated oxygen molecules, they come and collide with the oxygen molecules which are already present in the atmosphere and they form ozone with 3 oxygen molecules. Okay, now let's see the Chapman process of ozone destruction. How this ozone is destructed? This ozone absorbs a range of ultraviolet radiation. A range of ultraviolet radiations are absorbed by this ozone. What happens? It allows in splitting the molecule into one free oxygen atom and one molecule ordinary. Okay, splitting the molecule into one free oxygen atom and one molecule of, like, see, this is O3, right? Upon subjecting to UV radiation, what happens? Oxygen molecule plus one oxygen molecule is left free. This is how it is destructed. The ozone layer is being destructed. Okay, the free oxygen atom then collide with an ozone molecule. This free one which is there, the free ozone, the oxygen molecule, this comes and collides with the normal oxygen which is present in the atmosphere and forms the, okay, sorry, not the normal oxygen molecule, the ozone. It collides with the ozone. The free oxygen atom then can collide with an ozone molecule to form two molecules of oxygen. Okay, done. This is what the Chapman process of ozone destruction is being happened, and ozone is being destroyed. Okay, next, moving forward. Coming to the next topic, that is plastic pollution. Plastic pollution. We have seen air pollution, we have seen the ozone pollution. Now let's look into the plastic pollution. Plastic pollution is also being a major concern, because everywhere we see it is plastic, right? No one, if any measures are taken, no one is reducing this plastic pollution. Let's see into it. Why this topic is in news means global plastics treaty negotiations. These negotiations have been happened where the United Nations Environment Programme, has been facilitating negotiations, for a legally binding global treaty, for a legally binding global treaty to end plastic pollution, The Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee sessions, including the recent INC 5.2 in Geneva in August 2025. It held where? In Geneva in August 2025, have intensively debated capping primary plastic production and full life cycle of, and addressing the full life cycle of plastics. This is what in Geneva August 2025 the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee has discussed. Okay, now let us see the background, the basis of plastic pollution. Okay, plastic pollution is the accumulation of synthetic plastic products. It is the accumulation of synthetic plastic products in the environment that adversely affects the wildlife. Obviously not wildlife, not only wildlife, in oceanic waters also, the fishes is also being affected by the plastic which we are throwing into the ocean. See, affects wildlife habitat and humans as well as in the oceans also. Plastics are highly durable. They are highly durable, which are non-biodegradable, and they are also cheap to produce. Basically, compare when we look into a plastic water bottle and a steel water bottle, okay, or a glass water bottle. This takes for a steel water bottle. Take this plastic water bottle costed around 50 rupees. However, this steel bottle costs us around 120 and 150 rupees. See the production cost also, right? It is very cheap to produce, leading to a use and throw culture. Basically, we can't take the steel bottles, we can't drink it in the steel, and we can throw it. However, in plastic bottles, okay, 20 rupees he'll charge, we'll take that bottle, we'll drink and we'll throw it off, like a use and throw process, right? Over time, the environmental factors like UV radiation, heat, physical friction break down this large plastic debris into microscopic fragments. Those are microplastics. Okay. This has created a planetary crisis. Where plastics are not just suffocating oceans, not just only oceans, but have deeply infiltrated the global food web and human physiology. Okay, in everything we have seen so many newses regarding like a shark or a fish having a lot of plastic in its stomach, right? Everything has been going on, leading plastic in a very dangerous way. Okay, next, let's see the plastic crisis. The scale of the environmental crisis. What is the scale of the environmental crisis? It is the, let's link it to the climate link. The plastic life cycle accounts for about 3.4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, the UNEP projects it could consume 19% of the global carbon budget by 2040. Next, the ocean chokehold. Approximately 11 million tons of plastic enter the oceans annually. Annually, how much of plastic is being entered into the ocean? 11 million tons. By mid-century, the weight of plastic in the ocean may exceed the weight of all fishes. Rather than weight of all the fishes, this plastic may increase the weight of the ocean rather than assuming the all fishes in the ocean. In 2024, approximately 500 million tons of plastic were produced, generating approximately 400 million tons of wastes. Okay, if unchecked, if it is not checked, waste generation could triple to 1.2 billion tons by 2060. By 2060, the waste generation could triple to 1.2 billion tons by 2060. Okay, next. See, the few things, the governance and recycling failures, they have come up for reducing the plastic and all, but there are few failures also. Let us see. Fossil fuel base. This fossil fuel base, plastics are primarily derived from petrochemicals. These are primarily derived from the petrochemicals, linking them directly to fossil fuel extraction. Okay, now coming to the low circularity. Means a strategic 94% of plastics are virgin, means which are newly manufactured, while only 6% are from the recycled sources. Only how much percentage? 6% are from the recycled sources. Major of the plastic is newly manufactured. Okay. Next, end of life mismanagement. End of life mismanagement, where of the waste generated only 9% is recycled. Out of the waste generated from the plastic, only 9% is regenerated, recycled, where 19% is incinerated. 19% is incinerated and 50% is sent to landfills. It sent it to the landfills, and 22 remains entirely unmanaged. 22% is completely unmanaged. It is left like that. It is not degraded. It is not done anything. So it is left unmanaged. What happens furthermore? Nearly 2/3 of plastic items have a lifespan of less than how many years? 5 years. Mostly the packaging and textile industries. Okay. Coming to microplastics and nanoplastics. Not only this basic plastics, we have microplastics and nanoplastics also. How? Based on the size. Microplastics we can compare on the size. Smaller than 5 mm. Smaller than 5 mm, visible, which are not visible with our naked eye, which are visible under the microscope. What is the origin of these microplastics are? These are formed from degraded waste or intentionally manufactured. These are intentionally manufactured, or they are formed from the degraded waste. Example, micro beads in cosmetics. In cosmetics, some micro beads are used, right, like for scrubs and all. So those are the things. Next, impact. What is the impact of this microplastics? Is mainly accumulate in tissues and the digestive systems. Okay, these are mainly accumulated in the tissues and digestive systems, which are found in lungs, gut, blood and placenta. Okay, these are about microplastics. Let's see nanoplastics. Nanoplastics are more smaller than the microplastics, like around 1 micrometer, that is 1000 nanometers. Where it is originated? It is originated primarily in secondary primarily. Secondary means breakdown of microplastics via UV, heat or oxidation. By using the process of oxidation, by using heat or by applying UV radiations, these nanoparticles are formed from the microparticles. Basically the secondary productions. They are end stage of the degradation. They are the end stage of the degradation because some are intentionally engineered. Basically, these are normally subjected when the microplastics are subjected to UV radiations or heat or something. But some are intentionally also engineered. They are manufactured intentionally for advanced materials and drug delivery. Okay. Now, let us see the impact. The impact is highly dangerous due to their size because they are very small. They can easily enter into the human's body. They can cross the cell membranes also. They can cross the cell membranes. They can breach the blood barrier, okay, blood-brain barrier and enter internal organs also because of their small size. Next. Coming to the planetary and human health hazards of this plastic pollution and this nanoplastics and microplastics. Cellular and genetic damage. Cellular and genetic damage. NPS cause oxidative stress. They cause oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction and DNA damage also. They can damage the DNA even by elevating the risk of cancer and neurodegeneration. This is what a nanoplastics can do. Hormone disruptions. Obviously, they can disrupt the hormones by plastic contain hazardous chemical additives. They have hazardous chemical additives like BPA, flame retardants and so which acts as an endocrine disruptors. Endocrine hormone is being disrupted by this. These affect the fertility basically because fertility is one of the major concern in India as of now. They affect the fertility, they affect the fetal development and immunity also. Next, coming to the ubiquitous spread of these nanoparticles, how they are infiltrated in the entire food chain. They are infiltrated in the entire food chain. Example, they are even eaten by planktons, food in seafood, salt and tap water, where we consume all these, right? Where we consume all these, okay? And the global environment also, which are found in airborne dust, remote mountains and poles, polar ice, okay? This is how the nanoplastics are available and visible. Obviously, see, eaten by planktons, found in seafood, salt and tap water. Basically, we consume all these. By consuming these, what happens? It enters into our body also, which disrupts in mitochondrial dysfunctions, which enters the DNA and all this stuff has been happening. Okay. Now, let us see few key important words and concepts of it. Primary versus secondary microplastics means the primary microplastics are deliberately manufactured. They are deliberately manufactured into small, that is microbeads, the glitters, whatever we use, that are all microplastics. Okay. Secondary microplastics are results from the fragmentation of larger particle items. Large plastic items are there, no? From there the fragments of the plastic items are the secondary microplastics. What are those examples? Degradation of plastic bottle or shedding of synthetic textiles. These are few examples. Next. Coming to endocrine disrupting chemicals. These endocrine disrupting chemicals are like, see, chemicals that interfere with the body's endocrine hormone, the hormone which is released by our body, the BPA. Bisphenol A is a classic example often which is tested in the UPSC examinations in hard plastics and receipt papers. Okay. Next, extended procedure responsibility. A policy approach under which procedures are given significant responsibility. Okay. A policy approach under which producers are given significant responsibility like financial or physical responsibility for the treatment or disposal of post-consumer products, for the treatment and disposal of post-consumer products. Next, what is ghost gear? Ghost gear is the abundant, lost or otherwise discarded fishing gear in the ocean, a major source of macro or micro plastics. This is one of the thing. Next, we have few possible prelim tricks. We will see about it. What is it? Assuming nanoplastics are primarily manufactured for industrial use. Is it true? Because in the environment, the vast majority are secondary. Those are not the primary plastic. Those are secondary ones. Okay, derived from the breakdown of larger plastics. Next, second thing is, assuming the global plastics treaty only deals with marine plastics. Will it only deal with the marine plastics or all the plastics which are concerned in the globe? No, it aims to address the full life cycle of plastics. Including production and land-based pollution also. Don't get confused that only this global plastic treaty only treats with the oceanic plastic wastage and all. No, it deals with complete life cycle of the plastic. Okay. Next. So these are the topics for today. We have seen few air pollution topics and we related those topics to ozone pollution and plastic pollution also. So I hope you like this video. If you wanted a detailed note of this lecture, please download it from our website. The link is provided in the description. And do like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and do follow our Telegram channel and Instagram channel for your UPSC preparations. And I'll see you all tomorrow with another new topics of current affairs related to science and technology and environment. Thank you.